What up traders, I am Ako Samuel Odi, the liquidity king and the AUDUSD sniper trader back on your screen. And in this video, we're going to be talking about valid and invalid breakout, right? This is one of the beginners topic every beginners need to take note of, right? So if you're getting a trading journey, then you really want to sit tight and understand what this concept entails, because it will enhance your knowledge in order to make informed decisions while trading the market. Now, what a breakout simply means. A breakout is a price point where either buyers or sellers engage the market and cause an effect showing control, right? That's simply what a breakout means. It's simply control against either the buyer or the sellers in the market. So now let's look at some diagrams that identify a breakout. So for this, I'll be using an illustration of the type of market we have. We all know we have an uptrending market, we all know we have a downtrending market, and we all know we have a sideways market, right? Now this market is being controlled by buyers, this market is being controlled by sellers, and this is an equilibrium market that either buyers and sellers, none is in control. Now let's look how we can identify breakout scenarios using this structure, right? Now in an uptrend, what do we simply want to do? Price creates higher highs and higher lows, right? In an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Now if we consider this to be a resistance point, right? In an uptrend, we know this is a resistance point. What do we want to do? Look for sales, but we can clearly see that price is trading up. So now when price come here, we want to look for candlestick that signifies the body closed above the resistance points like this. Once we see this happen on the chart, it validates a valid breakout, right? But if we see a scenario where price just straight up and close with wick like this, it signifies invalid breakout. So using the candlestick wick and the body is what we use to identify a valid or an invalid breakout, right? So now, what do we want to see in zones? We want to see candlestick break either below or above bodily, right? We want to see it break above bodily, or we want to see a scenario of a wick. Now, a body signifies valid breakout, right? And a wick signifies invalid breakout. Please take note of this whenever you're looking at the chart, right? So now, if we see a scenario in an uptrend like this, then we see a candlestick break out and we see the wick or the shadow, right, like this on the price chart, it signifies invalid breakout. And in a scenario when we look at a region like this and we see a resistance point like this and we see a clear candle, bullish candlestick break above this resistance point, it signifies a valid breakout, and from there we want to be looking for buys to continue up because it signifies buyer strength in the market. Now let's go for a ranging market, right, before we go for a downtrending market. Now for a ranging market, what do we know? Price is bouncing between equal range, right, for a ranging market. Now if we have price trading down here now and we want to know, or we want to make price decision based on these points, then we look out for candlestick that signifies if this point will hold or price will break it out, right? If you haven't watched my candlestick video, I'll add it in this video, then you go and watch different candlestick patterns, right? So now if price come here and we see that price start forming candlestick body below, closing below this support zone, right, it signifies a valid breakout, right? And if we see a scenario that we have a wick formed here, right, like price traded and closed back in that range, creating a wick, it signifies an invalid breakout, probably a sweep of liquidity or stop loss hunts, right? So in that order, we'll start looking for reversal back to the range, right? But if we clearly see a candlestick that closes bodily like this on this range, then it signifies seller strength, right? It signifies seller's strength, and price might likely continue trading below, right? This is how we look out for market structure, trading it with breakout, right? Now for a downtrend, what we look out for is price creating lower highs and lower lows, right? Now let's assume we are seeing an obvious impulse move, right, happening on the chart, and now we now see correction. And what do we expect? For price to come back down and take out the previous low, right? So when price come here, what do we start looking? We start looking out for breakout candle, valid breakout candles. And once we get a valid breakout candle, a bearish candle that closed bearish below this range, it signifies selling strength or seller strength, and price might likely continue going downwards. But if in a scenario where we don't see that, or rather we see candlestick close and we see the wick pull back and then price then went to close back in the range, it signifies buying strength, right? Instead of looking for market continue trading down, we want to start looking for how we can look for candlestick confirmation showing this exertion that is more like an invalid breakout, right? Then we start looking for buying momentum that is against the trend, right? It shows that the trend might have likely end because of this breakout. It's important for you to take note that for we to determine a valid breakout is for we to look for a bear, either a bullish or bearish candle that close bodily in a range, either support or resistance zone, right? And for the scenario of an invalid pullback, we look out for what? Candles wick, right? Candles wick, either bullish or bearish, right? This is what we look out for. The wick signifies if the wick close back in the resistance zone or the support zone, it signifies invalid breakout. Then if we see the candlestick, if this is bullish for example and this is bearish for example, and it close above or below the support or resistance zone, it signifies a valid breakout. So candlestick body closed below a resistance or support zone signifies a valid pullback, and candlestick wicks showing around those zones signifies invalid breakout. If the candle closes back in the structure of whatever range, be it support or resistance, and this is simply the logic behind valid and invalid breakout on the price chart. So if you found value from this video, kindly like, share, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I drop trading related content on my channel. And in the description box below, you will see the link to join my free Telegram channel where I post trade signals and ideas building the biggest trading community in Africa. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.